Hi, I'm Luke Lango, and this is Investor Place Quick Picks, where we communicate to you some of the market's best investment ideas in just 10 minutes.
America's leading innovation investor, Luke Lango's Investor Place Quick Picks.
We're going to talk about a plant-based food company that I think represents one of the best long-term investments in the stock market. The name, Else Nutrition, ticker BABYF, BABYF. Now, Else Nutrition is a small company that has developed the market's first and only plant-based infant nutrition milk formula. This product hit the market in late 2020, has been on a robust growth trajectory ever since, and we firmly believe that it represents the future gold standard of the $80 billion infant nutrition market. Yet, Else Nutrition is just a $200 million company today. So the long-term opportunity here is absolutely enormous. In that light, maybe it's time for Gerber to step aside and for another company to shine. That other company is going to be Else Nutrition. Here's a deeper look. The world is changing rapidly, and one of the bigger changes is happening in our diet. Long story short, we are pivoting towards a more plant-forward society, where plant-based foods are more and more commonplace. You see, older folks look at red meat and see a fancy steak plate or a juicy burger, but young folks look at red meat and see lines of cows packed into hardly livable conditions, emitting tons of methane gas every year and contributing significantly to global warming. All just to produce a piece of meat, which actually is pretty bad for your heart and liver. Now, because they look at animal-based meat through this entirely different lens, young folks are doing something their parents never thought was possible. They're shunning meat eating. According to a Utopia survey of 18 to 24-year-olds in Germany, more than half of those surveyed have given up meat eating entirely. A survey from the Food Institute found that 65% of Gen Z consumers want a more plant-forward diet, while 79% choose to go meatless at least once or twice a week. Now, perhaps most relevant, a YouGov poll found that 1 out of every 5 young people believes that the future of eating is meat-free. And they're right. We are sprinting into a meatless future, and over the next decade, the enormous legacy animal-based foods industry is going to be entirely disrupted by emerging plant-based food companies that are winning over the hearts and wallets of young consumers. The biggest name in the space? Beyond Meat. And it's a great long-term investment, but it's not the best play on the plant-based food megatrend. Instead, that title is reserved for Else Nutrition. A highly specialized, quite large, and absolutely necessary niche of the global foods market is infant nutrition. This market measures roughly $80 billion globally today and has grown at a steady 5% pace over the past several years because we keep having babies, and babies require specialized nutrition. It's that simple, no surprise there. But what is surprising is that this market has had essentially zero innovation for 120 years. It's a market dominated by highly processed cow-based formula milk, 90% of the formula market, and soy-based milk, the other 10%. Two options which parents have grown accustomed to, despite 50% of babies having an allergy to one of them. In other words, the specialized, large, and necessary infant nutrition market is dominated by 2 antiquated incumbent product types that are failing to meet the needs of the target demographic. Now, if that doesn't sound like a market that's ripe for disruption, I don't know what is. And indeed, this disruption is happening, and Else Nutrition is leading it. Else has leveraged novel scientific methods to create a milk formula largely from just 3 plant products: almonds, buckwheat, and tapioca. No hormones, no antibiotics, no corn syrup solids, no GMOs. It's chemical-free, organic, non-dairy, non-soy. It's a clean label. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. And to that extent, It's the perfect infant nutrition product at the perfect time. You see, all those young folks that I was talking about earlier who were shunning animal meat and leaning into more plant-forward diets, about 50% of whom are eating plant-based meats at least once a month, well, a lot of them, like myself, are starting to become parents. Millennial women accounted for 82% of births in the US in 2016. Parents want the best for their kids, obviously. If they earnestly believe that plant-based diets are both healthier and better for the long-term health of the environment, which is of particular relevance to a parent of a toddler that has another 100 years left on this planet, then they're not just going to be plant-forward themselves, but they're also very likely to adopt plant-forward diets for their little ones too. As a young parent myself, that's exactly what I'm seeing play out on the ground level. We've transitioned our little girl to Else Nutrition formula recently. She loves it, absolutely guzzles it down, and mom loves it too, because in her own words, it's loaded with all the good stuff. My sister-in-law has done the same with her daughter. Many of our friends have switched their babies to Else Nutrition in recent months too. And the reports across the board are consistent. They're very, very, very positive. Kids and parents love this stuff. Just go on Amazon and read the reviews for yourself. And to that point, this is not just a phenomenon happening around me. Else launched its product on Amazon.com in late September, and it quickly became the #1 best-selling hot new release product in the baby and toddler formula category. Demand since then has been so robust that Else Nutrition has had to launch its own Amazon brand store on Amazon.com. So, where do we go from here? Well, Else Nutrition has to expand distribution, and they're doing just that. The company's products are now on the shelves of all 350 Sprouts Farmers Markets across America and will land on the shelves of 159 natural grocers across 20 states by May 2021, and of 71 Big Y grocery stores across the Northeast starting this month. Else has also reached a distribution agreement with United Natural Foods, who has a food distribution network that measures over 30,000 retail outlets in the US. We expect this rapid distribution expansion to couple with shifting consumer demand and increasing brand awareness of the Else brand to spark enormous growth in this tiny company throughout 2021. And that will be just the beginning. Long term, we think Else will leverage its first mover advantage in plant-based infant nutrition and its home run first hero product, this new toddler formula, to launch a whole series of plant-based infant nutrition foods under the Else brand over the next few years, and ultimately turn this unknown brand into the next big thing in baby food. And yet, Else Nutrition is just a $210 million company today, disrupting an $80 billion market. That's why we see the long-term potential in this name as being very, very large. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Investor Play's Quick Picks. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash that like button, or follow me on Twitter. Just be warned, I'm having some trouble with my Twitter accounts right now. Got hacked, having some email issues, trying to get back in. Multi-step, multi-day process, but I will be back. So give me a follow on Twitter and I'll respond there as soon as I get back online. Until next time, cheers and happy investing to all.